Hey there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a rather quick and dirty mod presentation video for you. This is the first in a hopefully long series of videos on certain historical mods for the coolest historical games. And yeah, since Shogun 2 is currently for free, for I think today and tomorrow still, I thought it would be a good idea to quickly cover the best mod I know for this game. In this case, this is the ultimate immersive mod that changes quite a few things, and the first one you might actually be seeing here when you're a bit used to Shogun 2 by now, or have already seen the map, and that is, you see a lot of small provinces that weren't there before. The mod implements the extended campaign map, and I think it's the only one that really got it running properly. It's there is another mod out there that is also pretty neat, maybe even superior in some areas, but the AI just doesn't work properly with the provinces. So yeah, this is definitely better. That is though not the only thing it changes, despite it being very cool, because every single of the smaller provinces is actually filled with a fortress, appropriate harbors and other buildings, and the historical accurate clan that ruled these lands. Now that is pretty neat. But no, that's not the only cool feature this mod has. As you might actually have noticed by now, here it is talking about Goshi warriors and Yumi infantry. Yeah, the units have been renamed to what they were actually called back then in Japanese. Goshi warriors are the samurai that are organized in units. The rural samurai actually. And Yumi infantry is the name for the bow ashigaru, as they are, I think, called in the base game. So yeah, that's already different. All the factions have been reworked. I'll show you some of that in a moment. Just take a look here that the campaign is also much longer. So that is also something. And it is highly recommended to play on hard difficulty, otherwise the battles get a bit boring. Anyway, yeah, the Shosokabe start off a bit different. As you can see, their start province is also much smaller, so that is one thing. The Shimatsu have the same province as usual, and again with their blacksmith, but their katanas are now much stronger. It's also nice new skin, really like it. The Hojo, again, for them it's pretty unusual. They have two vessels at the start, since the provinces were cut down and separated from, I think, 70 into 170 provinces. That changes how these provinces are ruled, of course, since not all of them can be in the possession of a clan, and thus a lot of them have now vassals at the start. This includes, I think, the Mori too. Yes, they also start with one, and yeah, the Oda too. So that's pretty interesting and makes for a fun start. Yeah, you can already see that they still have their special units you get from the one DLC pack, so I'm highly recommending getting that. I think they are reduced by 75% at the moment, so yeah, you can do that. Very special are the downloadable factions, and the Hattori actually have quite a lot of ninja units now. The Tokugawa also get a ninja hero, I think. The Ikoiki are very special with their concentration on zealots and ashigaru units that they can actually boost with the specialized general's ability tree. That makes the general almost useless in combat, but boosts the morale of the ashigaru into high heaven scores, so they become utterly unbreakable. That makes them also, that turns them into a huge late game challenge, because when they manage to become big, they become really dangerous, because they just flood you with armies. Since Ashigaru play a bigger role here in the game anyway, that can be pretty difficult then. Yeah, and last but not least, the Otomo, the westernized Christian clan that sports matchlock rifles from the very beginning on. They are pretty strong in the early game, since these things cause morale damage to units that they hit. But yeah, it dies down a bit in the late game, since, of course, others get these guns too, and in samurai units that are most likely better at shooting than these Ashigarus. Still, governance over 2 vessels at the start, yeah, and superior at converting provinces. So yeah, might make for a nice challenge. Alright, let's take a look directly at the map and at some of the new units you will see in the game. And the general streets, of course. Yeah, welcome to my current Tokugawa campaign. You might already see that these provinces look much different, and very cool for the Tokugawa is that they actually have a ninja fortress in their starting region, so you can get there pretty quickly. Yeah, most of the new provinces actually have resources, so it's actually very interesting to have them. For example, here a merchant colony early on, and horses and wood turns this area actually in a proper naval combat, yeah, strong faction when you conquer these various resources. Though there is a severe limitation to that, because ships are strictly limited. The modern reasons that actually at that time naval combat wasn't that important, and instead land combat should be focused. And this not only works as an emphasis on land combat, but it also forces the AI to spend less money on the fleets. That's a problem that a lot of mods have, that the AI spends far too much money on its navy, and with these strict limitations it doesn't do that, and the result is, in this case, that actually a rather small clan is sporting 3 full stacks here. That is very strong. Oh, and you actually get generals to fill up these armies. I have to look it up later on again, maybe when some of you have the question how, but you can actually recruit generals here, not just by upgrading a regular colonel that is commanding an army without any actual proper general after a successful battle, but yeah, you can actually recruit directly. What else? Yeah, as you might already have seen here, we have an additional Ashigaru unit that is sporting Tashis. That's the shortest swords, if I'm not mistaken. And it changes the balance in the early game quite a bit. As you see, I have a lot of them because of the many smaller provinces. You now have quite a bit more income at the start. But since katana, samurai, and similar units that are made up by samurai cost far more in upkeep, 150 here in comparison to just 45, so you can basically get 3 of these instead of 1 samurai unit, it is highly recommended to use Ashigaru as the core of your army, and the samurai units just as yeah, heavy assault units or the backbone of their line that keeps them together and breaks the enemy line where it is needed. Both are a bit weaker than in the base game, which I actually quite like. Katana cavalry, especially the general's cavalry, is a bit stronger. Your generals can become really powerhouses with the various trees you now have. You of course have here the more technology and clan focused stuff that can become actually very, very good. And you have here the typical tactical strategical stuff where you get better command and so on. Here's the admiral tree, and you can already see quite a lot of changes. Here even that they get minus 15% upkeep, so you can actually get an elite army with this general at some point when you focus on that. But you can also go for the warrior tree, and that is now actually an option. Oh, here, Ashigaru commander can be very strong, especially in the early game. Yeah, infantry leader, of course. But yeah, warrior tree, hugely more morale, and the inspire ability gets stronger. His melee ability can go up in crazy regions, and it is already better than standard katana cavalry. Yeah, even more. And down here you get, I think, even a stronger unit. I'm not sure. Stronger, bigger unit? Anyway, there's, and this is the last tree on the side. It's not actually a tree, you can get them separate. But, yeah, plus 15 all units. Oh, wow. Didn't actually see that one before. Training investments. All units under his command get stronger, but cost far more upkeep. Oh, okay. And even more. Holy hell, but this is strong. Yeah, here you can actually reform your army to westernized standards, so makes matchlock units very strong. Can be pretty fun on the battlefield. Yeah, and here you get more armor for your units. So these are very situational. You might have to look if you want to go for it. It definitely pays off for some of the factions if you go for this. For example, the Takeda can profit a lot from increased cavalry damage, or the Otomo very much from army reform. Also other factions. Yeah, that's some changes to the tree. What else is there? Oh yeah, of course, the diplomacy. Your neighbors are now much more likely to agree to a trade agreement, even when they are indifferent. That was sometimes a challenge, so in the base game here it is better. It is also much easier to keep your vassals and your allies in check when the split in the empire happens. So when you are so powerful, for those that are playing Shogun for the first time, when this year is full due to you having conquered too much territory, the Shogun will declare war on you, and all the others too. In the base game, your allies will quickly join them and attack you too, and so will your vassals. Here your vassals and your longtime allies will stay loyal to you and help you in the fight. So that is a pretty cool thing, and actually accurate. On the economy stuff is, in the base game it is very important to have these regions under your control, or not the regions, the trade nodes, and of course trade with the other factions. So when the split happens, it's usually devastating for your economy, and that makes controlling the gold provinces extremely important in the base game. Here still the gold provinces are pretty interesting. As usual, the gold pits and the higher buildings produce, of course, a lot of wealth. But since you have more of the smaller regions, you can relatively comfortable build a lot of them up at least to the second level, so you can get these two buildings here running and the farms. And all the smaller resources you can get help a lot with generating quite a lot of money, so it doesn't hit you that hard. I think this is also pretty accurate, since the main source of income in medieval Japan was actually farming, especially rice farming. For a reason, the koku money we get here in the game is actually based on rice, on a certain amount of rice. It's not really based on gold coins or anything like that. It was actually based on rice. The modder highly recommends to get some additional mods to his. He has uploaded a collection for that, or created a collection on the Steam Workshop. One of those is the huge Strongholds of the Samurai mod that gives you a lot of historical and simply improved siege maps that are just beautiful to look at and make a hell of a lot of fun. Even the early fortresses then become very interesting battles instead of the 2 or 3 standard maps you know from the base game. So I highly recommend to follow the modder's lead and use his mod in conjunction with the others he recommends. By the way, the modder is named Takeda Shingen. And yeah, leave a like and a follow on his mod and subscribe to it. It's absolutely awesome, and I highly recommend to play Shogun 2 with it. Contrary to Paradox games, of course, the mod is compatible with achievements, so have a go at it. Yeah, that's about it. I hope this was an informative video for you guys, despite being done pretty quickly. Yeah, and I will be streaming this actually today, I think, in a few hours. So yeah, maybe keep an eye on Twitch. The link is in the description of the video, and I think I will go online around 2 p.m. Central European Standard Time. So maybe see you then on Twitch. Hope you enjoyed it, and yeah, subscribe, leave a like for me too, not only for the modder. And hopefully see you on Twitch. Bye bye.